Sharksploitation. Who watched this? All right. Adam, you're the only one who didn't watch it?
I was watching Jaws 4: The Revenge.
Well, good. Then you'll like this because they talk about that movie a great deal.
They do.
Sharksploitation is a really good documentary by Steven Scarlatta, who also did the Jodorowsky's Dune documentary about the Dune movie that was never made. Basically exploring like the shark genre, where it came from, how it blew up, and what it's doing today. And I thought it was fascinating. I really like film documentaries. How did you guys feel about this? We'll just go down the list here. Joey.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. It's about a topic that's like not really covered in media. And it's interesting to see like the evolution of shark stories over the years. And I thought it was cool because it covered the 1958 She Gods of the Shark Reef movie, all the way to Jaws, of course. But the Shark Reef movies is fucking awesome. I thought the interviews were diverse. You have like an environment conservation advocate to directors to shark experts. I thought it was great. It's his first like director credit, and I hope this kind of opens up the world of filmmaking for him and the world for like different horror Shudder documentaries.
Crystal, what did you think of it?
I thought it was done really, really well. It was a great documentary, I think. I thought it was fascinating seeing a lot of other shark movies that I didn't know existed. So I have a lot added to my list. I didn't realize so many bad shark movies could be made.
Have you never
I
turned
knew,
on Tubi? Tubi
I knew that they could, but I didn't realize that many. Like how many directors had like 6 different, it's like 1, 2, like shark movie 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
And then so many more. It's pretty fascinating, but I really do like the ending a lot, saying about how don't be mean to sharks. Like the whole thing is like, don't, like sharks really aren't the worst thing in the world. Like we have to respect them. It was a really great message at the end, I think.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it has a lot of these directors of these shark movies. One of them is Mark Polonia, who did Virus Shark, Noah's Shark, Sharkula, Amityville Island. That's about a shark. But you know, guys, Adam, I know you think these like he might be a one-trick pony. Don't worry, he steps outside of his comfort zone. He also did Zillafoot. Okay, so he goes into Bigfoot territory once in a while.
Yeah, so kind of the monster of the week type of stuff.
Yeah. And I do, and House Sasquatch, and I want you to know that I will be signing up for your Patreon to make you review all of these. So Gil, how did you feel about the film?
I thought it was really cool. Crystal, like you were saying, some of these people have made so many shark movies. There are filmmakers, and then apparently there are people whose profession is to literally just make shark movies. One of my favorite parts are when they're going through all the various cliches that all the movies have, and you get that split screen where it's like these 10 shark movies all have the same beats that they're going over.
Yeah.
I also loved how it goes so far back. It literally traces how society viewed sharks in the ancient times through like the early 1900s and then into modern filmmaking. You know, the one thing I would say about it, not as a negative, but just that it's very summary level. Like it covers so many different things. As I was watching, I was often pausing to like look something up and get into more detail. Like they offhand mentioned the USS Indianapolis, where hundreds of people are in a shipwreck and they're attacked by swarms of sharks. And then they immediately move on to the next topic. And I was like, wait, I want to hear more about that. That's insane. I
think it's because they assume we've all seen Jaws, where they talked about that. So they were like, people know. People know. Move along.
Well, the one thing, though, somebody in one of the interviews, they mentioned talking to a survivor of that attack. And they asked them, like, what'd you think of Jaws? And then it just cuts to the next interview. And I'm like, I want to know what that guy thought of Jaws.
He was probably like, I didn't see it because I'm haunted.
How dare you ask me that question?
Okay. Who is typing so loud? Oh my God, mute your mic if you're going to type. Crystal.
She's like making a martini in the background at some point.
Your cat's robotic shit box is going off. Speakers.
I'm just going to leave, guys. Bye, guys. First and last.
I just didn't know if I
cutting
was being
timber.
so boring. She was like, let me just start working on some emails or something.
Mint Salad.
Yes.
As the most expert reviewer here,
Yeah.
how did you feel
All right.
about Sharksploitation?
All right. First of all, I can mention. First, I think this is the only public, the only time that Hollywood has said, like, publicly that, hey, sharks are actually not evil. And I find it annoying how people think sharks are actually bad after watching these movies. Like, this documentary covers a lot of people, like, the scare around shark movies. And I'm like, bro, sharks are relatively rare. They're not going to be in, like, lakes. They're not going to be in your bathtub. That's stupid. That's dumb. All right. First of all, you got to be wary of sharks where there might be some sharks, and there's, like, whole documented shark patterns, shark navigation patterns that they follow, and, like, only some sharks are reported to be there sometimes, and there's not a lot of shark deaths. Like, more people get hit by lightning than get hit by sharks. And you can just punch a shark in the nose, okay? If you have a shark coming close to you, just punch it. That's where all the senses are. That's how it sees the blurry vision, good nose. Punch it. I mean, like, watching this movie and watching all the people be like, oh, well, people thought that sharks were scary. I'm like, bro. Watching this movie, I'm like, this is not technically a movie. So this is a documentary. And I wasn't expecting this to be a documentary. This is Hack the Documentaries over here. Watching this documentary, I'm like, bro, dude, I already know that sharks aren't scary. It's all Hollywood, okay? And then at the very, very end, it's like, oh, this is why we should treat sharks nicely. I already knew that.
Okay, so I just want to point out,
listening to you.
I just want to point out that Mint Salad didn't mention a single movie that the documentary talked about. She went right into shark facts and being mad about shark facts.
I like Jaws. I like the first two Jaws. I haven't seen the other Jaws.
Did any of the movies that they showed, were they of any interest to you? Did you think some of them looked ridiculous? Did you think some of them looked good? Or were you just hung up on your National Geographic?
Look, I found it interesting, like, how many shark movies there were before Jaws. Not even, like, shark movies technically, but, like, monster movies. And I was like, okay, I like the monster movies. I like how they're using water to hide the monster, using water as a fun medium. I enjoyed that. And I was like, okay, I like this. And then when it starts getting to Jaws and after Jaws, and there's, like, a bunch of Jaws clone, it's like, all right, I understand. Sharks are scary, blah. That time period is when I didn't really like the movie choices, especially after, like, some of them that they described as not being the best. I'm like, okay, I'm interested. I feel like there's gonna be, like, some shark hysteria at this point. But now, Sharknado. I have heard of Sharknado before watching this Sharksploitation film. I haven't heard of the other ones before watching this.
Yeah, so for Adam, who didn't watch this, it actually, just to describe it to someone, it's actually interesting. Like she said, it does actually show that there were all these underwater horror films before Jaws, and there were films that used sharks as, like, a form of death, like in James Bond and whatnot, but Jaws was the one that finally kind of married those two. And it shows all the ripoffs after that. But yeah, Sharknado, when it got into Sharknado, that was a big event when that happened. I think we all know where we were when we watched Sharknado, right?
That's right.
I've never seen Sharknado.
I watched it when it was live. The only reason I watched Sharknado is because the main actress for my senior thesis, she plays a dead body for 2 seconds in it. And I thought she was going to be in it more. So I'm like, let me check it out. I'm like, well, there she goes. Never mind. Gone. And it gets into this whole new era that we're in now with shark films and how they're purposely made bad. I think it was.
I mean, Tony, I agree with Mint, though, that it is ridiculous how much they glamorize shark deaths. It never happens. It's incredibly rare.
Yeah.
I mean, my brother died from a shark attack, but outside of that, it's like, it just doesn't happen.
and at his funeral, you were going, yeah, listen, guys, I know it's a tragedy, but, like, it's not a big deal. Relax,
it doesn't happen.
Right?
You know, it doesn't happen. I mean,
It
2 weeks later, my grandpa did also die from a shark attack, but outside of those two, yeah. he was also struck by lightning as he was getting eaten by a shark. So it was just incredibly rare.
Was there a storm while this was going on?
No, that's what makes it even more wild.
some midday heat lightning just struck. Yeah, but if you like documentaries about films or film genres, this is a really good one. Like we said here, it kind of breaks down the different eras of shark films and like where they're going. Yeah, I do like, actually, since you reviewed Jaws 4, they go into a lot about Jaws 4, and they mention the roaring shark, and how it makes no sense. But they had a good point. They were just like, look, when it was above water, like it looked weird that it wasn't making a sound. And then they have a girl who I guess edits or does audio for a lot of these like straight to video shark movies. And she's like, I always make the sharks roar. I have to throw in a roar every single time.
It wasn't so much even that the shark roared, it's that the woman, the lead protagonist, could sense that the shark was close. When it was like 100 miles offshore, she's like, there's a shark coming. My shark sense is tingling. Whole movie.
I am glad they got Mario Van Peebles for the documentary since he was in that film. But also you get a lot of Joe Dante in it because he directed Piranha, the original Piranha, and he also talked about his unproduced Jaws 3, which was going to be Jaws 3 People Zero, and it was going to be a comedy. And we mentioned this in the Jaws episode I did recently, but it was going to start with Peter Benchley going into his pool and then getting eaten by a shark. I kind of wish that happened. It was cool to hear from the people who worked on that movie about how like the 3D like was all screwed up and they shouldn't have done it in 3D. So that was a fun time. I think everyone here who watched it, I think really liked it. It is on Shudder now. And I would say check that out.